Four teams, two matches, two different debutant bowlers, and two seven-fers. All added up to make an amazing day for international test cricket. Hello everybody, welcome to Cricket Flavors. We are talking about the test match that concluded on the 28th of January between India and England. But as cricket fans, we cannot overlook the fact that on the same day, another test match concluded, which created history also. We'll talk about two players from each side, England and India, who were the key players for the side winning/losing. But the first mention has to be of Shamar Joseph, the amazing bowler, the amazing player from West Indies, just 24 years of age. What courage, what commitment, and what a performance. He single-handedly carried West Indies to the victory that they achieved yesterday. A seven-fer which will not be forgotten in a long time to come. And to think that the bowler had to be carried off the field because of a toe injury that he incurred from Pat Cummins when he bowled a toe-crushing yorker while the bowler was batting. To commit to the team to come and bowl when the team needed him despite the injury and then go ahead and carry the team to victory. That's saying something about the commitment level of this young player. One team that did not even qualify for the World Cup of 2023 and one team that did very poorly in the same World Cup. Now let's talk about India versus England, the match that concluded yesterday, where again England pulled off a victory which was not really expected, especially after the first innings. They say that in Test cricket, each day is a new beginning. Each day is on its own. It's a day of its own. The past doesn't matter, the next day doesn't matter, it's that day, how you perform that day that counts. And that was what was evident in the match that concluded yesterday between India and England. The first day of the match belonged to India, so did the second day. And it would not be completely wrong to say that the first innings of both sides belonged to India. But the second innings of both sides, the batting and the bowling, belonged to England completely, and then they emerged victorious. Despite having a decent lead after the first innings, India succumbed to a great bowling attack and Bazball by the English cricketers. So it would not be wrong to say that Bazball did work against India. So what was the factor of Bazball that worked? Well, Ollie Pope's innings, his reverse sweeps, his sweeps, the way he tackled the spin, the amazing spin attack of India and the pitches which India prepares to favor the spin conditions. He did mention that he had practiced a lot of the sweep shots before coming to India to practice for the matches, and it paid off. A valuable innings of 196. Too bad that he missed out on his double century, but that did provide a decent lead for India to chase down a total of 200. Batting second on the last day of the match was always going to be difficult because the pitch does deteriorate over the period of 5 days, and the last day of batting is always difficult for the batting side, whichever it may be. So India would have done well if they had contained England for under 200 runs, but it was not able to do so. But then even a 230 did not look that daunting, keeping in mind the Indian batsmanship, the batters that we have in our lineup, our strong batting side that bats deep. We expected that this 230 would be a very chaseable target. However, that did not work out because most of our batters failed to impress, failed to deliver on the day that it mattered, and then the Tom Hartley effect came into play. So who I feel are the two key players for England's side and the two key players from India who were responsible for the victory/defeat. Well, first, of course, it's Ollie Pope. His batting, his amazing Bazball tactics, and Bazball does not mean, it has to be a run of ball or less. In fact, the attacking cricket that he played, the shots that he played against the spin, he held on to his wicket and was able to give a decent total for India to chase and for his side to defend. And then the second key player, of course, is Tom Hartley, the debutant, who was written off from the first innings, how Jaiswal took him on, how all the batsmen targeted him. He was taken to the cleaners. He leaked runs in the first innings. But in the second innings, he came back. Indian batsmen did not have any answer to the kind of spin he was able to get, not to mention some very poor batting from the Indian side as well, resulted in a seven-fer for the debutant, a seven-fer that was for sure for victory. Now let's talk about two Indian players who would be held responsible for this defeat, at least in my opinion. The first player that I feel was responsible for this particular defeat is Shubman Gill. I am disappointed in his performance. Batting one down, much was expected from him. One down is a position that belongs to Kohli, especially in Test cricket. And when he comes into bat, holds on to his wicket, holds on and, delivers some amazing performances and does the job of a one down batsman very, very well. And something similar was expected from Shubman Gill. I mean, he was called the prince for a reason. I mean, King Kohli and Prince Shubman Gill. But lately, his performance has not been up to the mark. Lately, he's been succumbing to some poor batting, getting out like yesterday for a duck or a lesser score. We haven't seen the same Gill that we have seen perform against New Zealand last year, against so many other teams in so many innings, so many amazing batting innings that he has played, even in the World Cup. His form is under question. And so I would not be surprised if he is replaced by another player for the next match to play in the one down position in Kohli's absence. And Shubman Gill should take note that in India, it is very difficult to lose a chance. If you've been given a chance, you better make the most of it. Do not lose your position because the next person to come in to replace you is going to grab that chance, grab that opportunity, and ensure that he's the one chosen over you. And so Shubman Gill will do well to revive that form of his and to become the batter that we all know he is capable of being. And the second player, in my opinion, who was responsible or could hold the responsibility of the defeat against England yesterday is Rohit Sharma. And I'm not talking about his batting because that did not disappoint as much. However, he did get out early in the second innings. I'm talking about his captaincy. It has been questioned by many players, including Michael Vaughan. A lot of people have mentioned the fact that his tactics were not aggressive enough, especially against baseball. The field was spread out, so even a good ball by a spinner would go for at least one run. The attacking field positions were just not in place. Rohit Sharma did look like he was frustrated. His fielding positions, his bowling options also reflected the fact that he was not able to attack enough to ensure that the wicket is taken at the time when Ollie Pope was batting so well. And that was largely responsible for England to put up a total that became unchaseable for India. So it's always very disappointing to watch our team lose. However, we cannot deny that it was a great match. It was a great game of cricket. Indian side could never really build up partnerships. And if there was one developing between Jadeja and Ashwin, there was that amazing run out by Ben Stokes, which got rid of Jadeja. And after that, Indian team just could not sustain. However, India slips down to the fifth position in the points table for the World Test Championship. So India would have to pull up their socks and ensure a victory in the rest of the matches to ensure a number 1 or 2 position in that table so that we can compete in the WTC final next year. I plan to make a detailed video on Shubman Gill's form and the lack of it. You can say the downfall of Shubman Gill's form. Please go ahead and write in the comment box if you would like me to do that. Subscribe to my channel. Please like this video if you have. Leave any comments or feedback that you have down below. I would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching my video. Have a great day, everybody.